Alright, welcome to my propane page. Yeah, just Geo Metro. Wanted to help some people out with some propane installation kits. I know there's getting to be quite a few out there and a lot of people are doing their own thing on a lot of it. Let me show you exactly how I'm doing it. And I've even changed a little bit how I've done it since we've started, so it's time for a good video update. We're using a modified 100 horsepower throttle body and a K&N air filter with a bracket off of it that bolts you right to the stock bolt holes in the chassis for the air cleaner cold air intake that the car came with from the factory. So that basically just bolts on just like if it was a factory Geo component. This is a dual fuel system I'm going to show you. So it runs on unleaded gas or it runs on propane. I modify the air cleaner snout by just cutting it. We put it on and we glue it on so it's sealed up tight. And we use the stock hoses to connect to the 100 horsepower, and there's actually an adapter under here that makes up for a 1/4 inch gap that is there because of the hose different sizes. You'll see that in your kit. The air cleaner housing to make all this happen so it fits nice and there's no leaks or anything. You have to have all your rubber seals around the throttle body, the rubber seal between the air cleaner. You can take the air cleaner housing out. When we let everything relax and turn to fit all this, you no longer use this bolt hole right here. A lot of them would people are cut these off. You can leave it on, it doesn't matter whatsoever. The PVC is still hooked up and whatnot if you're not running the PVC, and that's all blocked off. I put it back together, but you can do it any way you want there. It is not a factor. Just can't have any vacuum leaks. The system has to be completely sealed. We're using a vacuum solenoid that is mounted to the brake master cylinder, and it comes over and it splits off the back fitting off the TBI. It's teed there, comes around through here, feeds all the way back to give a vacuum signal to the propane throttle body system, and that just simply tells it tells the throttle, or excuse me, it operates the throttle body. It uses a vacuum slide inside it, and when you turn the vacuum solenoid on and let vacuum go to that unit, it actually sucks the throttle body up out of the way, and then it's a free-flowing system, so it can run on the stock throttle body or gasoline, and then when you command it to run on propane, it releases the vacuum, the unit slides back into place, and then it meters the fuel through it for the propane. It's really slick, really easy. You've got one richening to set the we call it full power or full richness, and then there's another screw behind it that sets the idle. The kit comes set up for the car. You just put it on, bolt it on, start it, and drive it away. There is no adjustment on it. If you wanted to tweak it or do something different, if you're running a little different performance motor, the adjustment just takes a moment. What else do we got here? Let me show you the evaporator over here. We're using a 300 horsepower evaporator. We can do about roughly about 30 gallons of a liquid propane into gas in an hour. Obviously your Geo doesn't use anything close to that, but it allows that evaporator to work at super cold temperatures. Remember, the system can work at all the way down to about -45 is where Fahrenheit I believe is where propane boils. At any rate, we bring an 8mm fuel line from the back tanks, which we'll get to in a minute. It comes up here, goes into that on-off solenoid. That's just a shutdown solenoid. When you turn the key off, it basically locks the tanks off so you can't have any leaks. When you turn the key on, the solenoid's open the entire time you're running it on propane. The liquid gas pushes itself into the evaporator. The evaporator has the cooling lines from the heater core running through it and then back into the engine. It stays regulated at whatever temp the thermostat's running at, and that turns it into vapor, which runs up off the vapor hose and then follows the firewall and the wiring harness back to the throttle body. So over here you have to liquid. This is just gas vapor, but we bring liquid all the way forward. We have to use that evaporator because you could never get enough gas out of a tank if you were going to treat it like a barbecue. it has to happen in liquid form. So we've got the vacuum solenoid that tells it, that positions the propane throttle body to either run on gas or to run on gas or bypass for unleaded. That's pretty much it right there. We come in and we tie into the ignition system for power, so the solenoids are fused through the ignition system, and when you shut the car off, it shuts the entire system down and locks it down so there can't be any leaks. Ultimately, that's your control valve right there, and it's just electronic or electric. The system's pretty simple. You see some red wires that I've added in here, and that's pretty much all that you add. Then the evaporator is mounted to the side of the chassis over there. 2 screws, very simple. I'm going to step around to the back of the vehicle. And this is done on a 4-door, I think it's like a 93, 94 model. This runs 2 barbecue style propane tanks inverted so they run liquid instead of gas. If you flip a propane tank upright, you get gas out of it. If you flip it upside down, you get liquid. We want the liquid, so we run it upside down. A lot of people build their own racks because they'll put them on their roof. Like this car has a Yakima roof rack on it, and some people will mount their propane tanks up there. And this one is mounted in the trunk to keep it at any rate, the tank goes in here. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to show you here first. Basically, we're using standard DOT forklift straps. The tank is super strong. You can see that, but this unit, when it's bolted in here, it actually just stiffens. In fact, it makes the car drive nicer because it's like having a strut towers connected together. But this is really rugged and really strong. Well, you put the tanks in here, you flip upside down on top of the top safety shield. Basically rides right on top of here. Like you can see down here. Let me take the camera and drop in here so you can actually see that. And it rides there, then the straps go on it. They're right here. I'll put a tank in here in a minute and I'll show you how that's done. And then you've got a control valve here for just changing tanks out. And obviously everybody's familiar with a barbecue twist for a valve. And then this unit is just drilled right through the unibody and bolted up tight for the framework if you're using my framework. If not, you can build your own for different tanks. This will take, these are 2 5-gallon tanks, but there's actually enough room in here for a little taller tank. 7-gallon or 7.5, so you can have 14 or 15. If you wanted, you could even run smaller tanks, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. The whole entire system runs off one toggle switch. You're in propane mode or you're in gasoline mode, and you can virtually switch it back and forth as you drive down the road. There's almost no notice at all. It's a simple system to install. It just takes some time, and just gotta, not like anything, put a little quality into it. When you run the fuel line underneath the car, you're just simply unbolting the factory shields that are down there, modifying them a little bit, and then putting the new fuel line in, and it zip ties into the existing fuel lines and brake lines that are down there, and then the shield goes back up underneath it. The fuel line that we use in the kit is DOT approved for no shield, so it can go up there all by itself without any. It just happens Geo's got shields on it, and everything's DOT approved and heavy duty. You lose about 10% of your fuel economy, and then as a rule of thumb, like around here, we're buying fuel for about $1.25 or so less than at the pump. And, somebody told me about $1.50 recently, but the price of fuel has jumped up, so, or gasoline, so that's probably true. This particular car has a propane head on it that I just installed too, so the compression ratio has been raised up, and then we've taken and reset the timing, the base timing on this particular head to 15 degrees and of advance versus the stock 5, and then it almost, in fact, it doesn't really seem to ping with 3 people in the car. So I think we could probably even go a smidge more, but that's a nice place for it to be. I'm trying to think of anything else anybody would like to know. Give me just a moment here and I'll just walk around and let you take a look at it while I think about it. We just adapt it to all the factory components, and it fits so well inside a Geo, it's hard to tell that it's not something that came from the manufacturer. But you've got that toggle switch on the dash, the rack in the back, the tanks. Oh, well, you can't see it, but where the fuel lines, these 2 lines, and each one of these 5-gallon deals is just to get the hoses are just to get the tank out of the car. So when you switch it, so when it has that one little squirt of gas, when you break that loose, you know, there's, you know, a ½ inch of vapor right there. We just don't want it to stink inside the car. So you'd unhook this and then walk over to whoever's filling it up for you and have them redo it, or as far as refilling the tank. But what I was going to say is we go into a dual manifold here, and then when it passes through the manifold, there's a propane fuel filter on the other side, and it has a pressure relief valve in it too. So if the tanks ever get too hot, they'll vent outside the car just like a normal propane tank would. And yeah, it's pretty simple. It works out pretty well. This car just happens to have getting the snow tires taken off, so we have the seat folded down in it, so it makes it extra easy to see. But yeah, and so all you have to do if you have a flat tire and you get your spare, you just pop those out. You don't even have to unhook them. Set both tanks down here on the ground and pull your spare out. It'll fit your old spare. There's plenty of room. The spare tire jack still fits. Everything's still all there. And then I don't think I can put that tank in and hold the camera in it, but I think that you can see that all you do is just flip the tank upside down and play it in there and pull the clamp tight. And yeah, and really I was shooting this video for somebody named Cody that sent me an email that said he was installing this kit and could use some extra help. But that's pretty much it. Oh, and I don't know, yeah, I think I said that the vacuum that operates the throttle body comes, that vacuum source is just off the back of the throttle body. I just went up to the vacuum line, cut it, put a T in it, and connected the hose in there. Just has to be a steady vacuum source. And that's pretty much it. Both fuels idle at the same time, and they work really slick. Once you go propane, it's hard to go back. It's not only clean, but it makes the motors last forever, we're told, and oil changes seem to. I've got 7,000 miles on my own car right now in an oil change, and the oil still looks brand new, and people are telling me that if I dump a little synthetic in there, because I just have some Chevron 520 or something in it, but they said if I bought some really good oil and stuff that you might see 20-30,000 miles on an oil change. I totally am starting to believe that now. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, send an email. Don't leave a YouTube message. Just go to the website and leave me an email message. There are way too many people trying to contact me from too many different directions, and I hate to miss your comment. So just email me at Geo Metro, and we'll answer whatever question you have. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, and have a great day.